What's going on? I'm
Hey,
excited.
hey,
I got my brother
what's going
Ryan
on?
here, and you know, let's just start with this. For many of you guys, you know by now that I was on the reality show Play to Win, and I'm interviewing all the other contestants that were on the show. Ryan and I connected right away because Ryan's a veteran, and Ryan, I just want to focus on that a little bit because it seems like even in network marketing that we're a very small percentage of the people. So not only are you a single father with custody of his kid, right?
I have 50-50 with one on visitation, but it's a work in progress.
Yeah. You're a veteran network marketer, and you have a very powerful story of overcoming, which we'll get into a little bit later. But tell me a little bit, because I have a predominantly military crowd. So tell me about your service. When did you serve? Where did you serve? I know
So
that I didn't have the pleasure of punching you in the face, but I know you did the combatives program. So just talk to
right,
me about that a little bit.
okay. So I enlisted in 2009. It was one of those efforts to turn my life around after college. That didn't work out, so I joined the military. 11 Bravo, so I was infantry. Made it through basic AIT, all that, and then I was stationed down at Fort Bliss with a brand new unit attaching a light infantry to the armored stuff like that. And that's where I did most of my garrison and my training stuff. There was down at Fort Bliss.
Yeah. So, I've said this about all the veterans. It doesn't matter if you're want to be in the military, like the Air Force or the Navy, or you're actually in the military. But if you signed up after 2001, you knew that you were, basically signing up to go to war. I mean,
Absolutely.
so right off the rip, that makes you a different individual because you signed up for the military. You weren't forced. You signed up for the army. You signed up for the infantry during a time of war.
Yes.
Talk to me about that. What made you decide to go that route?
Um, Dude, there's a lot of reasons for that. First off, 9/11, it fired all of us up, right? Um, I was seventh grade in history class, so I was just getting into that whole, hey, testosterone's here. So, that already planted in my brain that I'm going to do something about this one day. Um, but then, growing up, I got into music, stuff like that, went to college. That didn't work out, and I kind of made some wrong choices. So I'm like, you know what? I need to get back on track to what I once was. And my dad and, relatives and stuff, they're all from military backgrounds. So it was an easy adjustment that way. But I actually wanted to join the military and do something of note. And I also had this in the back of my mind, like, I've fought a lot of things in my life. I've been fighting. Like, I'm good at that. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. That's the stuff that came easy to me, you know. But no, I wanted to do my part on the front lines, not for any kind of egotistical reason, but I wanted to make a difference, in this whole movement. Whether my views changed on what we're there for now or whatever, that's fine. But in that moment, I wanted to go and do something of note.
Yeah. So, you served your time in the military. After the military, if I understood the story correctly on the show, you began to struggle with drugs and went in and out of a variety of different homes, like rehab
Yes.
situations. Talk to me about that. What was the loot? I mean, obviously, if you've got a little bit of rock and roll in your background, drugs is not that far of a stretch. But
Right.
being that there's that pit stop of military service, what was it that broke you, or what was it that convinced you to get into that lifestyle? And just talk about that for a little bit.
So getting out of the military, I was actually discharged before my contract was up, because I had an altercation with a senior non-commissioned officer, my platoon sergeant. And then some things unfolded to where he was in charge of our UAs. I was on extra duty to where I couldn't leave post. I couldn't do anything. All of a sudden, I'm popping hot for cocaine, right? We're down by the Mexican border. I don't know what happened. All I know is I wasn't doing this stuff then. So I got really angry after I got booted out for all of these things. Me getting in the altercation with him, absolutely my fault, and I do it again tomorrow. Not the point, but but everything else that came with it, it made me really angry. Because I had done a lot of things in my eyes to better myself, but I never really changed myself either. So growing past that, now I see that. But I got really angry after getting home because it was something I was really happy doing. I felt proud of myself being in the military and serving. And then it was just kind of taken from me. And in my 19-year-old, 20-year-old brain, I just got kicked out of the military for fighting. I punched a guy, and that to me was like, don't you kind of want somebody ready to stand up for something? So I got really angry and I dealt with it in all the wrong ways. So I went back into my college, mindset of like, well, I didn't have to feel these things, if I kind of just self-sabotaged and self-destructed. And then I had, knee pain and knee problems from being in the military, and, ruck marches are great for the body. Do the body right. But, so I had a knee surgery and stuff. And after I had, I was partying and I was doing all those things, drinking all the time, whatever. But after I had that knee surgery, man, the opiates that's what I wanted. It just kind of.
So the path to addiction from you really started out, and I've heard this story before from other veterans and other civilians, that the path to addiction for you was through pain meds and opiates of, oxycodone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oxycodone, there's the hydrocodones, the oxycodones, but it doesn't really matter. They're all derived from the same place. Like, at this point in the game, I've done almost every drug out there, but the one that really brought me to the lowest place in life I've ever seen is opiates. And it started from a prescription, and that's one thing that really got me into, a natural health kick, got me into the Reiki energy healing and everything I'm doing now. But it was a long process, and it took me to 3 places that they always tell you about addictions. It'll either take you to an institution, it'll take you to rehab, or it'll take you to the grave, right? And I've seen 2 of the 3.
Yeah. So what was the moment? I asked this of Megan as well. What was the moment for you where you woke up and you were like, holy shit, this is not the life I want? What was that for you? For her, it was, she was in a gas station, 90 pounds, pregnant a few months later. So it was kind of a combination of issues. What was that moment for you that made you wake up to your problem of yourself? Like, I've got to get this fixed.
So that was actually kind of a 2-part story for me. So I had gone through rehab once. It wasn't my doing, the family sat me down for an intervention, go here, do that. I'm like, okay, a couple months, I can play your game. I literally relapsed as soon as I got home, because my intention was not to be clean. So then 2 years after that, I had done some jail time. It was about 9-month stretch, and 6 to 9 months. And then I was clean in that, and I got connected with some guys that were doing public speaking on addiction. They lived the life, they found their way out of it, and I saw hope. Right. So I had about 11 months clean this stretch. I had a bunch of public speakings that I was, fortunate to go with them on that. And then I wasn't able to afford to keep going. So I isolated, I got depressed. I wasn't doing that self-healing stuff. I wasn't working on me the whole time because I thought I was doing something good. I was clean, but it was more like a white knuckling life. So then I relapsed for about 2 months, and, I kind of caught myself, and I put myself in rehab this time. I went back to the same one because it's a great program, but, I trusted it. So I went back there. Within a week, I was on their peer council, which is like something I've never been in my life. It was somebody they looked up to, that was still a client, stuff like that. I was helping people through their stuff. They ended up letting me run groups with clients and stuff just for my views on addiction. I knew recovery. I just hadn't done recovery the way I was supposed to. So then at the end of that, they offered me a job. So I was coming home to change my probation and my supervision to Michigan to move there, to work there. And instead of getting approved to move there, they had built a case against me. From my 2-month relapse, I had a controlled buy of heroin on me. So I came back looking to change everything that I was doing, and I was told I can't. So that kind of triggered me, sent me back into that whole military thing. You were doing good things to better yourself, but you can't. So that was a huge lesson for me. So when I found that out, and then shortly after that, the drug task force wanted me to, start working for them to help help them help me is what they said. So I said, yeah, let me call you back. And I hung up and I never called them back. And I went on the run and, they whatever. So then I sat in jail a little bit and I got out on that probation case and I was looking at 17 and a half years in prison. Right. So I had 17 and a half years in prison coming up. Not my first time that I had a case that, could lead to prison, but that was heavy. Right.
Wow.
That was, yeah. So the better part of my oldest son's life, because I only had one at the time, who I was ready to be, in his life, I was potentially going to see him when he was a grown-up again. So that really woke me up, but I got depressed first and I kind of had that F it attitude, and I'm like, well, final run, we'll see what happens. And I didn't care if I made it out alive or not. So I went back to using. I totaled my car at about 75 miles an hour on the interstate. And that wasn't enough. I've overdosed 3 times. That wasn't enough because at a certain point I was hoping for it to just end. But then I woke up. My mom took me to my sentencing day because I had a totaled car, so I couldn't take myself. And we got to the parking lot and I'm chain smoking cigarettes, stressed as all get out. I don't know what's about to happen. I have a public defender. I can't afford a lawyer. I wasn't going to get one anyways. Like, you caught me. I did it. Let's take the lashes. Well, then my mom asked me, are you ready? I said, yeah. She turned around and I went the other way. Just took off. Sentencing day at courthouse parking lot. And I took off running on my mom because I couldn't face it. Right. So there were 3 weeks where I was doing heroin and meth because you can't sleep when you're on the run. I gotta be awake. I lost probably 15, 20 pounds in that 3 weeks. There was a night and I was way, way out of my head and I couldn't stop looking out the windows. And I just met this girl, I was squatting at her house and I just met her and I literally was watching the cops post up around the neighborhood to raid this house. So me and my high stupor convinced this girl I need to borrow her car. So I go on a little chase through town. They're following me in a minivan, an unmarked minivan, cop car or whatever. They follow me through town and I lose them and I get into another town. And I had about another week and a half left out on the run. And the whole time I was just kind of like twisting up inside. Like, it was like my soul was like angry at me, but I finally had it in me where I wanted to live through this. Right. It just happened. Like, I actually wanted to see the light at the end of this tunnel and this wasn't the life I wanted anymore. So I bit the bullet. I called my mom, who that was the hardest bit to face. I could do that prison sentence again, but telling my mom I'm sorry for betraying her like that was the hardest thing. Right. So I got one last night to come home to my mom's house, slept in my bed. And the next morning, so this would have been October 10th, I got to come back to my mom's house. And that was the last day I stuck a needle in my arm. So October 11th, I turned myself into the jail because I wasn't giving them guys the satisfaction of catching me. But I turned myself in.
October 11th, what year?
2015.
Okay, so been clean for 5 years.
Yes, sir.
Come on, man.
Yeah, 5 years. 5 years. 85% it goes up to lifetime success rate for addictions.
Come on.
And it's amazing. It's amazing.
Wow. I did not hear all that part of your story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Crazy. Now, who is Tammy Beltz?
Tammy Beltz, that's mom. That's mom.
That's mom.
Yep.
Way to go, mom. Way to stick in there.
Absolutely. She's a rock star, man. Absolutely love her to death.
That's cool, man. So talk to me about coming out in 2015 and not doing anything else from that point forward, becoming clean. Where did you find network marketing and why?
So I got out of prison July 20th, 2016. I got out early because I did.
1 year is much better than 17 years.
Yes. So I was sentenced to to 18 months locked up and 18 months on supervision. So 3-year sentence, technically, still better than 17 and a half, very much so. But so my locked up time actually got shrunk too, because the prison system here in Wisconsin offers an earned release program. So it was 5.5 months of intense AODA treatment. And then the rest of my locked up time attaches to my supervision, and I can do it here at home. So I made it through that. I got off my parole in 2018. But for the first few months of getting back from prison, I didn't leave my house. There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of PTSD stuff coming up from all my experiences, whether it be from the streets to prison to being arrested, whatever. And then I really had to figure out what I wanted to do or what I could do, because there's a stigma with addiction there, whether your debt to society is paid or not, it's always on your record. So better jobs are always harder to come by. So I just put out applications everywhere, put out about 60 of them. My 43rd application, I finally got a call back. I literally watched people look at my application in front of me and throw it away in front of me, But I got a call back for a landscaping company, and I worked there for about 2 years, but I took that job for about $8 an hour. And in prison, I had found meditation and yoga and all this, and I had discovered Reiki. And so it was in my plans to learn Reiki and all that. So I was working on that on the side, doing all that stuff. But I landscaped, I was working 5-6 days a week, 12 hours a day, and barely making ends meet, but I was happy. I was outside, no walls, no one was telling me what to do. I had music in my ears, this is it. Then I child support started catching up, and then I wanted to start seeing more in life. So I got promotions while I was there. I got some raises, but it still wasn't enough. And then I had my second son on the way, and it was time for a change. So I was already a Reiki level 2 practitioner, so I could start doing it, and charging people. So I was doing that on the side. And then I did about 1 month of construction for another company, a little pay raise, but all these days of just ripping shingles off the roof, I'm like, nope, this is not what I'm doing. So I quit and I started doing Reiki full time. And then I started, and then me and my son's mother, while she was pregnant, we split up, all that. So I was figuring that out. And then I had enrolled in a class to become a holistic nutritionist and health and wellness coach. And then the health and wellness niche kind of found their way into my inbox from network marketing. One of my friends from childhood, Jenny Glaser, she was in network marketing, and we just started bouncing, talking about the health, wellness, all that stuff. And it just seemed like a fit to attach to my already brick and mortar, business. And from there, I saw early success just from taking tools I knew back from when I was using or selling drugs. Now I could do some good with the world, just networking, right? So it was easy for me to attach to networking, because I've been doing it my whole life. The products just were frowned upon.
That is hilarious. All right.
Right. So I just ran with it, so, and I thought to myself, I'm like, cool. So I started in a superfoods company, it was one product focus. Cool. I'm used to one product focus. I can do this, and no one's going to raid my house. No one's watching me for it. And I can actually do some good for people.
That is so funny, man. So you start this network marketing journey. What did your mom say? What did your friends say? Like, hey.
So my mom was supportive of it, because she just knows how I am with people and how I connect, and how people, they hang on my words sometimes when I'm talking in public, whether it's about the health stuff, and it fit with my focus, my passion. So she's fully supportive of all that. Some of my friends, I'm a scam artist, whatever, and that's with Reiki or anything, I'm voodoo, whatever, but people will talk. Everyone's a skeptic of everything, and I don't care. Because at the end of the day, I still need to feed my kids, and I have goals I want to do in life. Sure. And I found a way to do it without somebody breathing down my neck, or without somebody saying, this is as much as you'll be able to make.
Yeah. So how did you find Ray? Like,
so I actually had, I found the golden ticket from Willy Wonka, right? My superfoods company was loaded with season 1 contestants.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Michelle Culberson, our dear friend, was the head up of that team. So then I met a lot of that, and then actually I was learning a lot of race stuff through Michelle, Tripp, and Jenny, and
I
all
know.
of them. Yep. So they're all great. I learned a crap ton of stuff in a short amount of time from them. And then it came out for the reality show, and Jenny's like, "You should audition." Me,
Oh,
me, right? I'm like, okay. So I literally joined Rank Makers the day I auditioned, and here's the kicker: it was February 15th, the first or whatever, the 15th, that first cutoff for auditions.
January
So
15th.
yeah, January. So January 15th, I auditioned. And I'm like, just threw it up in the air, like, let's just go for it. I dove in. We're this far. So here I am 5 months into network marketing. And we just went for it. And I got that email, dude, and I was to the moon. And since then, like the biggest thing for me is I wasn't playing as big as I should be, right? I wasn't confident in what I was doing. I was seeing success, but I was crediting it to like, oh, maybe it was warm market. They're being nice. You know what? Like I was seeing it, but I didn't have that vision that I do
Sure.
now.
Sure. So, what do you think the number one lesson you've learned from Ray was?
Get out of your own way.
Yeah.
You're not, that's the biggest thing. Get out of your own way because there's impact, there's value that anyone can bring. This world needs some help with lots of different categories, lots of different things. And not only the whole world, but individuals need other individuals they can relate to. But no one's going to come in and tell you, hey, it's your turn. It's your turn. Here's the microphone. No one's going to do that. So you just got to take your stance, stand up for what you believe in, and turn your passions into paychecks, man.
Yeah. So, day one, because you were on my day one. So, we
Yep.
load up into the van, that long 30, 45-minute drive. I
Right.
remember two or three of you up in the front seat, just jimmering and jammering away. You had some shared background with the criminal system.
Yep.
You know, we get in there, they load us into that room and surround us on that couch. What was going through your mind on day one, sitting on that couch?
Dude, I don't even know. It was kind of like walk in there and it's, oh, this is a cool, what did I get into, man? Like it was a similar feeling to when I saw that brown round going past the bus window. Like it's just plunging into discomfort. Like I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to do this. All I know is from my limited experience of the people I know from season one is hold on to something, bite your lip, and just watch out. Because you can plan for whatever, you can expect the worst, you can expect the best, but they're going to give you exactly what you need.
Yeah, they really did do that. It was amazing on the show to me how tailored everything seemed to be. And when I
Yeah,
say tailored, I mean the way they addressed me was probably very different than the way they addressed you. Um,
absolutely.
and I found that over and over and over, where they were legitimately going with the flow just as much as everybody else was, and
Right.
man, it was pretty amazing. So as you're looking around that room, you're biting your lip, you're like, "Holy cow, what did I get myself into?" Who did you think was the biggest competition to you winning the show?
uh I'm not gonna lie, I got intimidated quick. I started getting in my head because like, Christ, I've been in this for 5 months. And then I'm hearing, there's always there's this many six-figure earners already in the field, or there's this or that. And it's like, well, we're just gonna give her hell, but I just went in with an open mind and I was there to grow. Bottom line, it was probably like, to me, that whole experience and opportunity was like a doorway into a life I was leaving behind. You know what I mean? Like it was that culmination of all the work I've done. Like, okay, we can let that part of me go. And the show absolutely forced that to happen.
Yeah. So what do you think was your favorite moment on the show?
Oh man. Um on the show, that final day was a blast, man. Just the just how everybody came. I know just how everybody came together, even though we weren't necessarily all working towards it. You know what I mean? We were all just bringing our skills to the table, and we had a blast with it.
Yeah, that last day was a lot of fun.
A
lot of fun.
Yeah.
So in opposition to that, what was the most nerve-wracking experience for you on the show?
Dude, for me, it was that interview room, man. like for me, dude, those lights, all those people around me, it's very close to an interrogation room, bro.
Yeah. So which one was worse for you, Ray or Jessica?
Jessica.
Everybody's saying
Jessica.
Poor Jessica.
No, not poor Jessica. Like, kudos to her, man. Like she is a brain ninja. Brain ninja. She said she dropped like 7 words, and since then it's flipped my entire life.
Yeah. She said, it's just funny to me because there's been a couple of common themes from all of the interviews. And one of them was that nearly everybody so far has been petrified of Jessica. So
I wasn't until after the interview that I'm like, okay. Like I don't even know who I am anymore.
So what do you think, I mean, we come out of that reality show, the world comes unglued. You have all the rioting and looting, and you have COVID-19. You have it's like the world has lost their mind. And then when you take yourself back to the show, what do you think was the greatest lesson you learned while on the show?
The greatest lesson I learned is always be open, always be growing, right? Never get in your head that you're at a point where you need to stop taking in coachings or you need to stop investing in your growth. There's no ceiling to it, because once we hit the proverbial ceiling, well, now it's time we transcend that, and we have to keep doing that as people, as network marketers, in every facet.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, show's over, world goes into lockdown. What changed the most for you coming out of the show?
Well, I'm actually in a new company now. So literally everything changed. So we had some, a lot of people from the superfoods team, they went and did their own thing. Everybody finds that new direction. And it was time to pivot. I really had to start thinking bigger, and being self-employed every which way, I needed to start thinking long-term. And that's so stocks, Forex, all that market stuff has always been a curiosity of mine. And then I think, me personally, I feel that the more I get aligned with my goals, I'm attracting more opportunity for them, right? So it's giving me opportunity. It's giving me that platform and that place to grow the way I want to, and that matches my vision of where I'm going. So it's rather than setting a wish list, I actually have goals and actions to get there now. And I'm not overthinking it. I'm not making it super, super hard to get there. It's just buckle down, do the work, and opportunity will come if you're working towards it.
Yeah.
And you just have to be open. Like, I wasn't expecting anything. I had my eye set on something else, and this opportunity just fell into my lap, and I'm like, everything in me just screamed yes. And I've been connected with the best leadership, the best team I've ever been a part of. It's amazing.
That's cool. So as we're gearing up for the release of the show, which is coming soon,
right,
a lot of people are really starting to feel the heebie-jeebies. They're nervous. Their skin's starting to crawl. Where are you at?
Dude, I'm super, super stoked, right? Like, I was nervous at the show. I can leave that back there. Because one thing I made sure of is I was myself while I was there, right? I didn't try to act a fool or put on a hat that wasn't mine. I wanted to be me, and that's going to come through, I feel. So I'm not nervous. I'm excited. I'm excited to actually, use this as leverage to really start talking about it, and the growth that's come from it without saying too much has been hard. So I've just kind of been over here, just ready to talk about it.
Sure.
But the nerves are gone from it. It's all excited energy, man.
Cool, man. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on the show, and I appreciate your journey.
Thank
The
you.
fact that you have gone through so much and overcome so much, there's just so much lesson to be learned there for not only younger people, but people that throughout this pandemic have fallen on harder times, and they can look to your story and be inspired by it, because it doesn't have to be the end. And if you can escape all that stuff and make the strong pivot that you did, so can anybody else. And I love that part,
Absolutely.
man. So
Thank
it's
you.
so refreshing. So, man, I wish you the best. And coming up soon, we're going to be doing a watch party as they announce the release of the show. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you around, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, John.
Don't go nowhere.
All righty.